Today, you're looking for a review of the Kwilt 3 cloud storage device, and I've got that for you coming up. Hey everyone, this is Jeff from Everyday Tech Vids, where we take the mystery out of your cell phones, tablets, gadgets, gizmos, all the cool stuff you got running around, and we'll get you straightforward answers to your straightforward questions. If you are new to the channel and this content helps you, please do consider subscribing. So today, I am doing my review of the Kwilt 3 cloud storage device. I was really excited to try this thing out. And actually Kwilt, just to give you guys a heads up, Kwilt did send me one to try out, kind of review for you guys. I'm not being paid for my opinions, but they did send me the device to try out. I did an unboxing of this a while ago, and I was really impressed with the build quality. It looks really nice. They make a lot of big promises on the outside, no limits, no hacks, no fees. And as I started to dive in, to be honest with you, I was actually really impressed with the functionality of this thing. So in the past, when I've looked for other devices like this, the biggest thing I've noticed is that they just get really complicated. The way to set them up is much more like just a straight up server, which becomes a lot more complicated for people that aren't familiar with that. But the Kwilt 3 was actually very easy to set up, and I'll roll some footage of like some of the things I did to set it up. I might do a full tutorial on that later of how to actually set it up, but honestly, it's actually really easy, and there's not a lot of steps to it. You pretty much just plug it into your router at home so you can hardline it. There are options for Wi-Fi, but just for speed and other things, I'd prefer to plug mine in. So I plugged it directly into the router, plugged it into power, plugged in a flash drive. I mean, it was 3 steps and I had the thing set up and I was ready to rock and roll. So once I did actually get the Kwilt 3 set up to my router and everything, I went on the app itself. And the first thing I noticed after setting up my account was that it's super intuitive and it's a very smooth system. Again, that was something I was kind of concerned about with other devices like this, is that a lot of times the systems become very convoluted, or they're just, you need a little more knowledge about tech stuff in order to access it. But for those of you out there that aren't, maybe you are a bit techie, but you're not setting up your own servers, this you can absolutely do on your own. The setup for it and access is super easy. So again, like I said, it only took a few minutes to actually set up. It didn't really take that long to set it up. But really, once you have this plugged in, so again, as I mentioned, once you plug it into your router, you plug in the power and everything, whatever media you plug in, you'll be able to access on your phone, and vice versa. One of the really cool things I noticed about this is that they mention again on the box, and boxes always make promises, but they mention on the box being able to back up your own information, so you can dump stuff off your iPhone or your Android phone onto the storage device. And again, I thought that was going to be a tricky system, but I played around with it and it was so easy. Like literally, I just went into the Kwilt app, selected some photos I wanted to move to the hard drive connected to my Kwilt, and then just transferred them. It took only a few seconds and they were over. I verified on the hard drive they were on there, and they were. It was, again, as I play more with this thing, I really just think this is what you would hope for in a sort of, like they say, like a personal cloud storage device, where you can easily get your stuff over to it and easily draw your stuff back off it. So as kind of a recap, if I could say there were 3 things I most liked about the Kwilt 3, and then I'll see if I can come up with a con, because so far I'm actually, really impressed with this thing. But the 3 things I like the most about it. The first thing I like most about it is that the ease of setup is just, it's incredible. Setting this thing up only took a few minutes. I mean, sincerely, it probably took me 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes to set it up, just to plug in for power, plug into the Ethernet, and then that was pretty much it. The last thing you do is you plug in your media source, so your thumb drive or hard drive, whatever you want, into the side of the thing, and I was done. In 2 to 3 minutes, the thing was set up. And then I set up the app, the sort of the companion app, and the couple files I loaded right onto the Kwilt were there seconds later, so I could access them, I could see them. That was huge for me. Number 2, the other thing I really like about this, again, was kind of ease of use of the app. So it's not just easy to set up, but then the actual operation of it is easy. So operating the Kwilt was really straightforward. Just open the app and you can see all of the media you currently have on it, and then there's a section where you can view stuff that's on your phone that you could transfer to it if you wanted to. So ease of using the actual app was super intuitive. I think just about anybody could play around with it and move the files over that you no longer want taking up space on your phone, or if you store something on the Kwilt, so on the hard drive connected to the Kwilt, that you want to access later, it was just a breeze from the phone. And then probably the third thing that most hit me that I really liked is that it doesn't down res any of your stuff. Now this gets a little more nerdy, but when I take photos, I don't want to back up down, sort of down res or lower res copies. I want the full copies transferred. I'd rather actually have the additional space taken up on a hard drive and have the original sizes than to dumb it down. All right, and then as a bonus thing that I kind of really liked about the Kwilt 3 is that it really ran fast. I was kind of thinking, and I mean, just to give you a frame of reference, at my house I do have basically half gigabit internet, so I've got 500 megabit internet speeds. So I do have decent speeds for download. So I mean, uploads are I think around 15 to 20. So just to give you a reference of what my speed is here, because that's what the Kwilt is connected into. But I would say everything seemed to move almost 100% fluid. Like there was no loading time. Even on a couple videos I put on the flash drive, the little thumb drive it came with, there was no wait time. I didn't click on something and then wait. It was moving super smooth. So I was really excited about that. So hopefully the speeds will continue to be nice and fast on it. All right, so I don't want to dive into like cons all that much because honestly it hasn't done anything to me yet that I haven't been so happy about. The only thing I'd say is a slight down would just be the actual shell that the Kwilt is made out of. It's kind of a thinner plastic. Again, it's fine, but it felt a little more flimsy than the rest of the unit. And I mean, it's not something that I'm going to be setting things on or taking with me a ton of places, so it doesn't need to be like aluminum or anything. But it is kind of a thinner plastic, but that's a very small negative next to a ton of positives for this thing. I really think in the future I'm going to be utilizing this thing a lot. So if I had to give the Kwilt just an overall rating of quality for all factors considered, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. I mean, and again, that's for the general user. So people that just want to be able to back up some photos, some videos, maybe gain access to certain files while you're out and about. Not someone who's looking to set up like a server with a ton of hard drive. This is obviously it's personal, it's for just maybe an individual or family. But just with the ease of use for both setup, for usage, everything, I really highly recommend this. If people are having issues of you keep putting too much stuff on your phone, or you've got some files that maybe you need access to on multiple devices while you're out and about, it can just become a really easy way to get all of that done. All right, so for today, normally I do like a question of the day, but I'd actually like to reverse that, and I wanna make sure that if you have any questions about the Kwilt 3 that you post them below. The people at Kwilt are awesome, so you can always reach out to them as well, but feel free to leave a comment in the comments section, and I'll get back to you about any details you might be wondering. So the Kwilt is going to be something that I really feel like I'm going to utilize in the future. Being able to offload stuff as well as put certain types of files on it that I may need access to while I'm out and about is going to be really helpful. And having no maximum cloud storage is kind of awesome because you can go out and get a giant hard drive if you wanted to and just add all sorts of files to it. So yeah, if you do have any questions about the Kwilt, feel free to post them in the comments below. I can get back to you on there. Otherwise, in the description box, I will have a link to Kwilt's website. So you can check things out on there. You can check out all the specs, all that fun stuff. But yeah, if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask them and post them in the comments below.